Yeah. So about 9 years ago in Melville, I was sitting at the KFC in the drive-thru, and the queue was exceptionally long. And so I wrote a poem, as one does, and it goes like this: vegetables from Woolworths, knickknacks in the big bag, ready-made chicken, electric windows, power steering, air conditioning, holidays at the coast. I am the oppressor. Beggars at the gate, donations to charity, the poor rummaging through my garbage every Tuesday morning, the man who is always walking down the side of the road, ecstasy at $60 a pop, dance music, pirated DVDs, CDs, rising house prices, glass office buildings, conference centers, contact centers, lunch meetings where the waiter always speaks more languages than the suits. I know that I am the oppressor, and that you are too. Diamond jewelry, lamb on the spit, Saturday afternoon sport, rugby, football, cricket, 32 channels of Olympic coverage, late night movies, early morning movies, Sunday afternoon drives, fishing at the lake or the river. We are the oppressors. No, it doesn't feel like it, and knowing what to do about it is difficult, but maybe we need to start. Like the drunk in the tank, like the Monday morning hillbow crackhead, like the father beating his daughter's face, by admitting we have a problem. Politicians in black cars, secretaries in miniskirts, the PR chicks with big, big smiles, the man at the gate looking in who knows my name. I am the oppressor. So I'm sitting in this goddamn queue, idling, and inside the headless chickens are boiling or baking or frying or electrocuting or however they kill them these days. My spirit's wrestling some kind of awakening. It's Colonel Sanders and me, face to face. Yet somehow, and this is perverse, I feel better. It's as if these thoughts, these ideas have made things easier, and so I pay the checkout check, I grab the brown bag, and I drive straight out past the kids on glue, because I know giving to these guys only makes things worse. So I wrote that piece about 9 years ago, and I hadn't performed it for, many, many years, until we did it at the Maverick thing. And it was quite intriguing, because at the gathering, people are tweeting and twittering and stuff while you're talking, and so there's another whole paradigm to this interaction while your lips are flapping. And one of the tweets that came through was from Ms. Maziboko of the DA, and her tweet as that piece finished, by all accounts, was angry black poetry from a white guy, confusing. Which, in my world, writing for all of you guys, whoever you are, I feel like we are losing the muscle of failure. And I say the muscle thing advisedly, and that's why I'm sitting here, is because I have a muscle disease. So I lose muscle in chunks, And there's all the obvious things with a muscle disease that you would expect. I have to make a decision, will I walk down those stairs or not? And tonight I say no. And I watch myself and my family and everyone around me, we watch me losing the strength, and that's obvious, and then you deal with that, and that's part of the job. But there's a whole other side to loss of muscle. And so in our kitchen, we've got a dish rack, and it's quite elevated, So the weird thing about a muscle disease is that you can have different points of strength, So I have my left arm stronger than my right. So when I do the dishes and so on, this thing happens where you can reach for a dish, and then the dish is too heavy for your arm, and your arm goes like that, and actually falls a little bit under the dish, And it's a very disconcerting feeling, and not on the logical, linear frontal cortex part of your brain, but emotively, it goes, And so what can end up happening is that you can look back over your life and go, for 2 years, I haven't lifted a dish with my right arm. And I didn't even know about it. Have I lost the ability to lift a dish with my right arm? And where did it go? And why wasn't I thinking about it? And I say it's metaphorically a similar thing kind of happening in South Africa at the moment, where we have all these issues and so on and so on and so on. But we also have these black holes and these blind spots developing as a society where we can't even go anymore because it just freaks us all out and results in chaos. It's actually just like, it's easier to go and go back to the conference. What's this guy talking about? And so about 5 years ago, I wrote a poem, when Oprah was still on our TV screens, I wrote a poem trying to capture this thing that I feel. Our inability as people, and as South Africans particularly, to look into the country of the heart where certain things are happening individually and as a group. And it's called Some Days Are Just Like This. Dark, sinister, filled with violence and despair, tears on the streets. Some days are just hopeless. And millions upon millions of the people, the South Africans, equally so. Some days are so full, so deep in their misery, it's enough to make you deny everything as you drive to the Hyde Park shopping centre. Down William Nicol Drive, scanning the roadside broadsides, man saws off husky's head. Boy slaughters child with knife. Mother shakes baby. And Oprah asks why. Why, she asks, angry, again and again. Why are we compelled to be like this? Why do we push and push and push into the corners of evil? Why can't we just stick to science and sport? Good eating and healthy thoughts. Why, she asks, as if she doesn't muffle screams too, just like you. As if she doesn't look deep into the mirror late into the night, just like me. Truth is, Oprah, some days are just like this. We are people, and people must. So my experience in the city art scene is that I'm getting fat and old, and so I don't go out nearly as much as I used to, and so it's a little bit of a risk to start making statements about what the youth are saying, as if I'm young, because I used to be, but I'm not anymore. But still, I've been speaking to people and trying to kind of figure it out, and in my daily life I have a good exposure to a 20-year-old young South African. And my experience is that what has changed is that we've moved away from this environment where people are discussing politics and the philosophical elements of our economic and social lives as they were 10 years ago. And now around the hip-hop and spoken word scene, you're seeing much more content around how do I get rich and get into the suburbs. You know, that's what kids are rapping about nowadays, in my experience. And I've had a few conversations in the last few weeks about this to people, and yeah, lots of people agree. There's been quite a marked shift, you know, in the last 10 years. So if we project forward in 10 years, then you're looking at a society where people are just saying, I don't care how it works, just tell me how I can get mine, you know. So also what I'm hearing from youth at the moment is that the line between a Zilla and a Zuma, a Mantashe and a Mazibuka, a Clem Santa and a Patrice Motsepe has all but disappeared. So these people may perceive huge differences amongst themselves in the way they carry out their business, but from the perspective of a young South African in the city, well, these are just all the guys who play that sport in a stadium to which no one else is invited. And so when Marikana happened, I tried to write a poem, as all poets wrote poems about Marikana, and I wanted to try and capture the cynicism that I experience in the people around me. Not a personal cynicism, but a philosophical cynicism. These are not cynical young artists, but socially they are extremely cynical, and the idea of a social contract is just receding and receding and receding. So I wanted to try and capture this idea of the cynicism I experience around me, and then of course I also had to capture my reality. And my reality is I've never been anywhere near a mine. I've never got the dirt on my shoes. I've never breathed in the gold dust. I work for all these guys on and off. And so I can carry out knocking out narratives at an hourly rate that exceeds the monthly salary of the guy who looks after our street for the rest of my adult days and retire to the coast. You know? So I wanted to also capture that in a Marikana poem. You know? And here it is.
For Marikana! Marikana way, banana, banana, banana. Oh Marikana, oh Marikana, oh Marikana, Marikana. Oh Republic, we are. Hey! Mina!
Marikana.
Marikana.
Bafana, Bafana. Banana, banana. Republic we are becoming. But thanks, Cyril. At least I got a new car.
Oh, Marikana! Hey! Hey! Banana, banana. Thank you.
So on behalf of Lucas Bonoko and myself, I'd like to thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.